Welcome back to Teknobalta. Today we are tackling a critical performance anomaly in Call of Duty Black Ops 7. We at Teknobalta analyzed a specific case where enabling NVIDIA Frame Generation actually reduces performance. The user reported that with an RTX 5070 and an i7-14700K, FPS drops from 140 to 70 when FG is active. This is a counterintuitive behavior for frame generation technology. Usually, frame generation should double or significantly increase the perceived frame rate. However, in Black Ops 7, especially after recent seasonal updates, the implementation seems compromised. Let us begin with the root cause analysis of this technical failure. The primary reason is likely a synchronization error between the game engine and the NVIDIA Optical Flow Accelerator. When the base FPS is already high, around 140, the overhead of generating extra frames can bottleneck the pipeline. If the game's internal buffer cannot handle the additional AI frames, it results in a massive performance regression. Furthermore, seasonal updates often introduce shader compilation issues or compatibility bugs with DLSS 3.5. We also noticed reports of micro-stuttering and frame spikes during high-action combat sequences. This indicates that the frame generation buffer is failing to sync with the server-side tick rate in multiplayer. Now, let us move to step 2, preparation and pre-checks. Before tweaking in-game settings, ensure your Windows environment is optimized. You must enable hardware-accelerated GPU scheduling, also known as HAGS. Without HAGS, NVIDIA frame generation cannot function correctly at the driver level. Go to Windows Settings, then System, then Display, and finally Graphics Settings to find this toggle. Ensure you are using the latest game-ready driver from NVIDIA. We recommend a clean installation using DDU or Display Driver Uninstaller to remove old cache files. Now, let us proceed to the main solution path, disabling the broken feature. Open the Black Ops 7 Settings menu and navigate to the Graphics tab. Locate NVIDIA DLSS Frame Generation and switch it to off. In competitive shooters, frame generation is often detrimental due to added input latency. Since the RTX 5070 provides 140 FPS natively, you do not need AI frame insertion. The next step is to stabilize the frame delivery using a custom frame rate limit. Under the Graphics and Screen section, find the Custom Frame Rate Limit option. Set this to a value that matches your monitor's refresh rate, for example, 120 or 144. Limiting the FPS prevents the GPU from overworking and reduces thermal throttling. It also ensures a consistent frame time, which eliminates the spikes during combat. Let us discuss alternative methods for those who still want upscaling benefits. Instead of frame generation, use DLSS in Super Resolution mode set to quality. This will provide a clean image and a slight FPS boost without the latency of FG. If you prefer native resolution, try NVIDIA DLAA for superior anti-aliasing. Now for advanced optimization, NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency. Set Reflex to On plus Boost. This is crucial when frame generation is disabled. This setting forces the GPU to stay in a high power state, reducing the CPU to GPU pipeline delay. We at Teknobalta also recommend checking your VSync settings. Disable VSync in-game and enable it in the NVIDIA Control Panel if you use a G-Sync monitor. This combination provides the smoothest experience without the bugs associated with in-game sync. Regarding the mismatch between the NVIDIA overlay and the in-game counter. The in-game counter often tracks engine frames, while the NVIDIA overlay tracks final output frames. When FG is broken, these two numbers will diverge wildly as the engine struggles. By following our steps, these counters should align more closely. In summary, the frame generation in Black Ops 7 is currently unoptimized for high-end hardware like the RTX 5070. Disabling it and using a custom frame rate limit is the professional solution. This ensures 120 to 140 stable FPS with minimal input lag. We will monitor future patches to see if NVIDIA and the developers fix the FG buffer. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more high-level technical solutions. Stay tuned for our next deep dive into hardware optimization. This is Teknobalta signing off. See you in the next one.